o maka ko inoa, ai e noho mā o ko hoea mā lama o Kanaloa. Aloha. Velina ake aloha. E ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e o nā mea huna no e au e ala e kahiki e. Ia uka ia kai. E moana nui a hiwa o Kanaloa i ke kai nei kuga maka he ni uola. E ka nei i ka vai ola. E Kanaloa i ke kai nei e ku ka vauna hele e lono holo i ke ao pano. E ho o malu kalani. E ho o malu ka honua. He ola ne na pula e kono ana ia mauli ola. Ti he mauli ola.
On behalf of the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission and Living Indigenous Forest Ecosystems, I extend my warmest aloha to the participants of the Indigenous Crop Biodiversity Festival. Aloha. My name is Walter Kaho'olawe Kanamu Jr. My connection to Kaho'olawe is very unique. My family has resided in Honua'ula for 10 generations. Kaho'olawe is a part of the ahupua'a of Honua'ula. Once a forested island, Kaho'olawe was stripped of its beauty by overgrazing of sheep, cattle, and goats. Continued bombing by the U.S. Navy for many years has also left Kaho'olawe devastated. As a teenager, I spent my vacations at Ulupalakua Ranch, where I remember hearing and seeing military planes flying over Kaho'olawe. I could feel the earth shaking beneath my feet as the bombs exploded. My tutu looked out the window and called me back into the house. As I looked back, I could see clouds of dust and debris flying high in the sky. In the house, dishes and pictures on the wall began to shake, and some would fall. I heard my kupuna talking in Hawaiian. I couldn't understand a word, but tears running down their cheeks needed no interpretation. They were heartbroken. So were many people at the time. Kaho'olawe is a part of us. In 1976, a group of brave Hawaiian warriors set out to occupy Kaho'olawe in an effort to stop the bombing and return the land back to the people. The Navy continued bombing. Kimo Mitchell and George Helm died for the cause and were never found. If not for the continued efforts of the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana, I would still see the tears of my tutu. Is she worth restoring? Are they worth restoring? Are you worth restoring?
Aloha, my name is Paul Higashino. I'm the restoration ecologist for the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission. You know, I first came to Kaho'olawe in 1978 working for a contractor who was working for the Navy conducting a biological or botanical survey. And I think it's at that time that I fell in love with the island. You know, just the beauty of all parts of the island. I'm not saying that I like the devastation that has been done to the island by goats, cattle, or bombing of the island, but the island has a special beauty to it. The challenges or tasks have been great. One can look at trying to work on an island as modified or devastated as Kaho'olawe as God, just look. One can look at it as how do you address the problems. But for me and the staff that have worked for me for the last 20 years, we look at it as the challenge. How can we overcome the areas that have been so devastated? How do we overcome the lack of water, lack of nutrients in the ground, the high winds, the sun, just the harshness of the island? Most of our work on the island is done with volunteers. We usually bring about 20 to 40 volunteers during like a 2 to 3 week period. And the volunteers have done the majority of the work for us. Planting, alien plant control, erosion control. If there's a volunteer in our group that is a cook or a chef, we have them help us out in the kitchen. If a volunteer is a mechanic or a carpenter, they'll help us around trying to maintain the facilities that we here have on Kaho'olawe. To have the volunteers walk away with a meaningful experience where they learn a little bit of the culture of the island, the culture that we're trying to pass on to them, a little bit of understanding of what it takes to try to restore an island. I come out sometimes with volunteers and we feel great putting in for 1,500, 2,000 plants, Maybe in a couple of acres, you turn around and you look at how many more acres need to be restored. A lot of our focus lately has been working in the hardpan areas where there's no vegetation. But some of the pictures you'll be seeing about some of the hardpan areas, what do you restore hardpan to? Hardpan? So the planting or the work, it's one day at a time, one plant at a time, and getting people to understand that it won't happen tonight, it won't happen next week, it won't happen 10, 20, 30 years from now. It'll take many generations to try to revegetate the island with native species, to reduce the amount of runoff, sediment or soil going into the ocean. And it's going to take a lot. Most important resources we have are our ocean resources. Our work on the land will preserve and protect the ocean resources that surround the island that are so valuable.
My name is Dean Tokishi. I work with the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission. I serve as the Ocean Program Manager for the Commission. I've been working with the Commission for the last 13 and a half years. The Ocean Program manages everything from the high water mark up to 2 nautical miles out. So that encompasses the island. That's part of the marine reserve of the island. We like to say anything gets, salty, sandy, or wet, it's kind of like our kuleana, what we're responsible for. So everything from paka in the bottom fishing grounds to the limu, to the fish, to even the nearshore dune system. One of our major projects now is the removal of non-native invasive fish, the roi, ka'ape, and to'au. To date, a ballpark of about 1,500 pounds of biomass of those 3 species have been removed. I think first and foremost, being a culture reserve that we work in, another name for Kaho'olawe is Kanaloa, and knowing the cultural significance of Kanaloa and its connection with the ocean, I think gives myself and a lot of my colleagues a very humbling feeling of being lucky enough to work here. Is a privilege.
This is where we gather to greet Hokulea, to greet Makali'i, Hokualakai, Namahoi, Hawaii Loa, to greet those of the voyaging canoe. Voyaging of the Moana, the island is the child of Kanaloa, Ikikaine, a sacred child. And so it is to be respected as a blessing. This is a pu'u, Honua.
And I think that's something that none of us take for granted here. And that connection, seeing that connection between Mauka Makai is, I haven't seen anywhere more evident where that connection happens here except on this island. That where what happens on the island, is directly reflected in the ocean. Everything from sedimentation runoff to reductions of it because of revegetation efforts that Paul and his volunteer crews are doing. Strides and gains that have been made to heal the island and to revegetate and to malama the island and to bring cultural awareness back to the community in a greater sense gives positive light to the work that we're doing here and what can be accomplished and what still can and has to be done are some of the things of my job that really keep me motivated, keep me going, keep me loving my job every day. Being able to work with people like Uncle Walter, being able to meet people like Uncle Paul, and hearing his stories. It's a privilege I know that I have, and I think that's what this island is able to do, be able to bring people together where experiences are shared and they go back to their community. It's a lot of community support. This island right now, in the state we're in, belongs to the people of Hawaii. And I think people need to know what's happening here. People need to know what the importance of this island is. And so it's my job, it's the volunteers who come here after they leave here, it's their job, and it's people who are now watching this footage, becoming educated, and then it becomes your job or your kuleana. Everyone is given kuleana from this island to then, spread the gospel of what we're doing and the importance of it, and to gain community support, whether it be for legislative support, for funding, whether it be for just educating others on what's really going on here. It's cultural significance, it's marine ecological significance, it's restoration significance, and how we can serve as the people, the crossroads, bridging both the past and the future. The opportunity here on Kaho'olawe is endless, and the opportunity is vast. It's incredible. It's mind-blowing if you really think about it. I think we need to take it to the next step and keep our mission going is community support, community education, and kuleana.
How do you think the restoration on Maui regarding Kaikinui will affect Kaho'olawe?
Oh yeah, I think right now, and I think it's a great question. I don't know if we could hear Uncle Walter, but that connection between Maui and Kaho'olawe and the restoration being done in Kahikinui, I'm not sure if the audio can pick it up, but right now it's raining. The ua is falling. I mean, and that thing, and that in itself, I think, is a connection that, the Naulu cloud bridge, something that had been severed Kaho'olawe, Kanaloa from Maui for so many decades, and with the restoration on both Maui and now Kaho'olawe, it's that connection, both physical and spiritual, is starting to, reconnect again and be established. Yeah, so I think it's very important. And its success is already being seen, felt, and heard.
Right. Well, thank you for giving your insight. Hello. Don't squeeze my hand too hard.
Oh, sorry.
Oh man. I see Kaho'olawe out across the sea, standing all alone and calling to me. Ooh, like Kaho'olawe, I long for sovereignty, standing all alone, I want to be free. Now's the time for healing, restoring our lands. Bring the Aina back into our hands. o ka aina I ka pono. E hoi hoi mai ka aina I kou ka kōlimo.